Here we go. Let me make sure. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Career Development Center Coffee with Interns. My name is Matthew Warren, and I am the Assistant Director of Employer Relations. I know everyone's used to seeing Erica, but we thought that we would change up the format a little bit this week, and I will be interviewing our intern this week. So we're going to wait a moment for a few people to join, but with us this week, we do have Alex Dixon. Alex is a current CMU senior from Shelby Township, and he is majoring in accounting and information systems within our College of Business Administration. He's having a great internship experience this summer with Huntington Bank. I won't steal too much of Alex's thunder with that there, but it's been great to connect with him and learn more about this opportunity. But Alex will go more in depth about his role and his experiences and his time at CMU. But we'll just wait a few seconds for people to join the live, and then we'll be able to get going. You have a little bit of time to grab your coffee. If you have not seen already, we do have some beautiful Career Development Center coffee mugs within our office. So other interns in the future, as you connect with our office, yep, there's Alex's right there from his internship. But students, as you do progress throughout your time at CMU, and if you would like to talk about your summer internship experience, we would love to meet with you. This will continue on throughout the fall so that we can highlight your experiences so that other students can get a potential position in the next coming summer and the next school year. All right, Alex, let me just see where our viewers are at right now, and then we'll be able to get you up and going.
Sounds good, Matthew. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Okay, Alex, you can go ahead and get started. Yeah, we have enough viewers in the room now. So yeah, you can tell us about yourself, your hometown, your major, why did you pick CMU, all those great things about you.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Alex Dixon. As Matthew said, I am a senior at Central Michigan University studying accounting and information systems. I've previously been involved with Beta Alpha Psi, the Employer Spotlight Program, the Business Residential College, and a few other involvements at CMU. I currently work with Huntington Bank as a relationship management intern with their tech and telecom team in commercial banking. I originally chose CMU because of the Business Residential College. That was one of the big forces that, eventually made me decide to go to CMU, and it's been a great run so far, and I've loved all my time at CMU and where it's put me in a position to continue with my professional career.
Perfect. Yes. If students and viewers do not know, unique to CMU, we do have various academic residential colleges or living learning communities within our residence halls for students. So Alex, can you touch a little bit more on the Business Residential College and what are the unique aspects about that?
Yeah, of course. So the Business Residential College, or the BRC, is a living learning community for first-year business students. And as far as I'm aware, this year it'll be open to second-year students. But it's a way to foster and develop those business skills that you'll eventually use in internships, classes, or any social interaction. So through that, I was able to live on I was able to live in Calkins Hall with 40 other business students, take classes together, do homework together, and I guess have little social interactions together. And it was a way for me to develop those soft skills that have helped me out in my internships. There's a 1-credit class that you take where you practice those professional development skills, such as crafting a resume, working on your elevator pitch, and how you should conduct yourself during interviews. Aside from that, there are different philanthropy events, such as volunteering and donating. And then there's also social events like a rock climbing event, different events around campus, and really getting to have fun with it, not just strictly business and strictly professional. And through that, I've been able to have multiple leadership positions, serving on their executive board and then serving as their leadership coordinator for the executive board. So I've been able to reap a lot of benefits from that. And I think it's a great opportunity for all business students. And it's never too late to reach out to people who have been in that program to try and learn as much as you can from them.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for you. And that did open up a lot of doors to your future leadership opportunities on campus. So thank you for that, Alex. So, first question. So, discuss the process of finding your internship. I know within the last year, we're in a year of new normals, but just walk us through what was that internship search process like, your interviews, anything there?
Yeah, so I forgot to mention this is my third internship with Huntington Bank. I've previously had internships with Deloitte in audit and assurance, and then Ernst & Young with their diversified staff group as a tax intern. So the first internship I got was with Ernst & Young, and I got that through the Beta Alpha Psi underclassmen night, and that was an event specifically for freshman and sophomore students to find mostly invitations to leadership conferences that these different firms hosted. And for me, that was I believe my second career fair type event that I had attended. So still, kind of fresh, practicing those skills, working on my elevator pitch, feeling comfortable talking with those employers. But through that, I was able to attend two conferences and eventually got an internship offer from Ernst & Young for the summer of 2020, which was this past summer. My next internship that I got was with Deloitte. And as a sophomore student, I had applied to, I think, 20 different internships. I got 8 interviews and didn't end up getting any of those. So it was a little discouraging to look for things for the summer of 2019. So then I was searching on Handshake and I found the internship for Deloitte for a winter internship, which in public accounting is the busy season. So I would have had to take a semester off school. So I definitely had to weigh the pros and cons of taking that time off school and eventually decided to go for it. I ended up having a wonderful experience with Deloitte. And to kind of circle back, I did find that one on Handshake since they didn't recruit at CMU. And with this last internship with Huntington Bank, I had originally applied with TCF Bank for a residential loan coordinator position. Did my behavioral interview with the university relations contact person. After that interview, they suggested that I would be better for a treasury management position. So I interviewed a vice president within that department, ended up getting the role. And then a few months later, got a call saying that TCF Bank and Huntington Bank were merging. Well, it was more so Huntington Bank acquiring TCF Bank and that my position would no longer be available. So they, I had worked hard to kind of find that internship and headlined it up and was kind of nervous about what I was going to do for this summer. And luckily, Huntington Bank still wanted to still wanted to honor the internship and offered me this relationship management role. And I decided to go with it to find whatever value I could in that position. So one internship I found on campus through a recruiting event, and 2 others I found through Handshake.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you're the intern guru. You've had some great luck. Hey, all teachable moments in the process of all of that, and you can help students in the future. For those that are not familiar with Handshake, Handshake is the Career Development Center's interaction platform with our students. So each employer that connects with CMU, they are able to have their own employer profile. And within that profile, they're able to add different information about their organization, contact information for different individuals, as well as positions. Every CMU student, if you have not used your Handshake account already, you are given access to that from day one. So when you're admitted to Central and the admissions office mails you your admit kit, your credentials that you use to log into CMU's website, that will be the same that you will use to log into Handshake. We do have staff members available to meet with you to help you set up your profile so that you can learn how to use it, just like Alex did to find that internship opportunity. So Alex, what is the day-to-day like of your internship? I know you're working virtually. You haven't had the opportunity to go into the office yet. So what has it been like working from home in the day-to-day?
Yeah, so my current roles with my team are to conduct industry and company research for businesses within the technology and telecommunications space. So a lot of that is looking at their last 10K statement, which is a summary of all their operations and financials, to kind of get a picture of where the company is positioned going forward, what risks they've had to work around in the past, and how the bank can offer their products to support their business. Outside of that, I have this intern project that I'm working on with other Huntington colleagues, and I'm one of 16 teams. And our topic is on social responsibility and how Huntington Bank can mitigate gender bias and completely eliminate it in the banking industry. So that's taken a lot of my time conducting research, conducting interviews within the bank, finding out, more so from a customer perspective, how people feel about Huntington Bank, about gender bias, and other topics within banking. And we're actually in the final stretch. That presentation is due today, so we've been wrapping up and working on that pitch. So a lot of those soft skills I've been able to learn and develop in the past are definitely coming in helpful now. it is a little bit different doing it virtually. I guess I catch a little bit of a break on the presentation side. But nonetheless, being able to present yourself and speak is definitely going to play an important role with that project. And also in my internship, there are different social events. And again, it's different because it's online, but time to network with other interns, other colleagues, and be able to talk about my experiences at CMU, what everyone else is working on in the bank, and other opportunities that might be of interest to me, outside of my current role.
That's great that they've been able to keep you, busy and still connected with your other interns, even though you've been able to work from home. So, and then your project today, great work on that. Wish you the best of luck in that. Alex is actually heading to Ohio, right, today, to present on that afterwards on his Facebook Live. So good luck and safe travels there, Alex.
Thank you.
So, what is one highlight and one challenge of your internship? If you didn't have, any challenges, third internship, you might have everything down. But if you didn't have any challenges, what were some teachable moments or takeaways from your internship?
Yeah, so one highlight is definitely getting on different calls with various people throughout the bank. There are some people I see more than others, whether it's in my tech and telecom team or my, I guess, my innovation project team. But when I have 2 or 3 meetings a day, I get excited about that because it's a chance for me to smile, laugh, talk with other people, kind of bring that social interaction into the internship. Whereas in the office it kind of happens naturally. With this internship being virtual, it's kind of, it seems more, I guess, forced or like scheduled than it should be. But I still look forward to, working through problems with other people as opposed to working silently in my bedroom. One challenge is the internship being virtual. It's tough to have those one-off conversations when you're in a virtual chat with 30 or 40 people and it's one person speaking at a time. When you're in a large space with that same amount of people, you can kind of work the room and network and be able to branch off and have those side conversations and learn more individually about one person. It is nice not to have that commute during the virtual internship, and it's also I'm sorry, but it's also difficult not to be able to walk over to someone's desk, maybe ask for help on a problem, and go through more of a structured approach of like scheduling a meeting, kind of setting an agenda for what you want to work on, and kind of staying on course with that as opposed to it happening naturally. um, yeah, that was, I mean, other than it being virtual, the work has been challenging but rewarding. I've been able to learn a lot, even when hitting those little road bumps. There's always someone above me who's able to help me and kind of help me understand the problem, and that's helped me to avoid making the same mistakes twice, and really providing like great mentorship through Huntington Bank.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you for that. Yeah, there's always going to be a roadblock, but the main thing is how do you overcome that to work towards your goals in the future? So awesome job on that there. So how have you applied aspects of your major and your CMU journey to your internship experience? I know you highlighted it a little bit, being a student within the business residential college, but any other ways that CMU has helped to prepare you for this or things in the classroom that you learned?
Yeah, so every semester I've had group projects, whether it be in business classes or outside business classes, and that's been able to help me in every single internship because I think for the rest of my life, I'll be working with teams on various projects throughout the rest of my professional career. And being able to be reliable, be a communicator, and really put your best foot forward is really important, for providing value to that team. And you want to be recognized as someone who can, show up, who can get the work done that people want to have on their team. Another aspect, like Matthew had touched on it, being a part of the business residential college and developing those soft skills or just those small little technical skills that have helped me to obtain these internships. Because even, I guess that internship is just an extensive interview. You're being watched the whole time. You're being, I guess, I don't know if critiqued is the right word, but you're always getting feedback and you're always finding ways, to sell yourself to this company to potentially get that full-time offer at the end of the internship. Another aspect, um, yeah, I guess from my schoolwork, being an accounting and information systems major, I'm more of in a finance-based role right now. So I'm a little fuzzy like on the background, but just the adaptiveness to learn and problem solve from the different opportunities I've had within CMU have pushed me to like challenge myself and work hard to again provide value for my team.
Awesome, Alex. Awesome. So, how do you think this internship is helping you prepare for your future career? Has having 3 internships helped you to see what area you would like to go in or not to go into? So, how have all these opportunities helped you, think of your life beyond CMU? Because you're graduating in December, so that time is coming.
Yeah, so seeing 3 internships definitely helps you see what you do like and what you don't like, either from a work standpoint or a social standpoint. And I'll say the cultures at all 3 companies have been great. I love the people that I've worked with, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to where I feel comfortable and what I enjoy doing. And I had a conversation like that with my manager this morning, that I had those 2 previous internships and that I like the work that I did better, at least with Deloitte, in their audit and assurance practice. So despite that difficult conversation, they supported me and they said they want, they want me to do what's best for me. So I think that's important, and I think that's a valuable lesson that, it's okay to express what you want, and that's very important for anybody in their career going forward, because you shouldn't feel like you're pinned into a corner because you've accepted certain responsibilities. If you communicate what you want, people will be most people will be receptive of that and want to support you in that. In terms of my professional career, being able to talk with people and being able to network will always build me up a little bit each time. The different people I've been able to meet, the ability to expand my network, will create so much more opportunity down the road that I didn't even know existed before I started this internship. I see myself starting in a public accounting role, but depending on how that goes, maybe I could come back to banking. Not sure, but it really depends on what I want, I guess, in my social life, how in terms of my mental health, like what will be best for me in my career. And having people to leverage those, like being able to leverage connections, will just help a little bit in ease of that transition.
Awesome. Yeah, you're the best one to know. After all these experiences and conversations going through this transition, you've definitely done the work to help prepare for that. So, one question that I would like to follow up with that on, so being virtual, working from home, how has your communication style changed? I know you've been very involved on campus, but now being home, have you learned any techniques, or do you have any tips for students to learn how to increase their professional skills working from home?
Yeah, in terms of being virtual, I found that being more direct will help me get to where I want to in the conversation, as opposed to making small talk. Maybe if you were in person, if you had a little more time, with what feels like such limited interaction with these virtual calls, they're scheduled for a half hour. It's like, oh my god, I need to get all this conversation in before the time is over. It doesn't necessarily need to be like that, but when you have that mindset, it helps you to be a little more direct and ask those questions that lead to follow-up questions. For example, I found out that 2 of my like members of my team like have twins. One of them like is in a dance group at Ohio State, and I never would have gotten to those points in the conversation without asking about what they do at school, like what their family life is like, because I only see this talking head on my screen. I don't see that. It's been harder to see them as a person until I kind of peel back those layers and dig into who they are, and that's been a really cool part of I guess myself developing like my conversation styles, and maybe being more direct.
Awesome. Yeah. Being direct, you have to find out that information. So asking those questions, breaking the ice, making sure that you understand and know your coworkers. That's all great. So last question, and I also do want to add that if there's anyone that has a question for Alex, feel free to drop it in the comments below on the Facebook Live. That question will pop up on this video screen here for Alex to answer, or for me to answer, if you have any questions on our Career Development Center. So drop those questions down in the chat. Me and Alex are here to answer those for you. But Alex, last question. What is one piece of advice you would give to students looking for internships in the future? Would it be going to those on-campus events? Would it be searching on Handshake? If there's a virtual opportunity to connect with an employer, what would be the best advice that you would give about that?
Yeah, so my advice would be to apply early and often. There's no harm in applying as a freshman, creating those relationships, and maybe going back to them as a sophomore or junior if they didn't give you a look the first time. They would recognize your face. They would recognize what skills you're bringing. They could kind of see your resume develop if you stay in contact with them. And the worst they could say is no. And if they say no, you go on to the next company. One of the things my dad told me coming into college is to unlock as many doors as I could. And then when the time is right, pick the one that I choose to go through. So by creating those different avenues of opportunity for myself, I've been able to reap a lot of benefits in terms of my professional and social life. And it's been a truly like life-changing experience. And I've been really happy with my time at CMU. And it wouldn't have been, I guess it would have been a little different if I didn't start applying from my freshman year when I was able to get that first internship. So definitely putting yourself out there, making yourself a little uncomfortable, and just having no shame in applying for every opportunity that you can, that you feel that you would be a good fit.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Alex. Oh, so we do have one question, and I'll bring it in the chat here. It is from Sophie Rakowski. So Sophie asks, how did you keep your motivation when you were denied from a few internships and applied to a lot? Yeah, like you said, you just did not get that internship when you were a freshman, but that led to 3 other options there. So how did you stay motivated in that? And shout out to your dad for that advice. That's great. You have to find that key to unlock all of those doors for your opportunities.
Yep. Thank you for the question, Sophie. So in terms of motivation, even though I didn't get those roles, I knew I was gaining valuable interview experience, and I know that I'll be interviewing for the rest of my life, regardless of what happens in my career, interviewing for promotions or interviewing for different companies along the way. Worst case scenario, I don't even know if this is worst case. I had a job in my hometown that I knew I could, I was close to my boss that I could fall back on and still be able to work. But in terms of professional internships, I was just hoping that one would come along eventually. And as luck would have it, it did. And I was discouraged myself as a sophomore student thinking about, okay, I'm not as like experienced. I haven't gotten as far in my, I guess, like schoolwork where I wouldn't necessarily know the technical ins and outs like within the internship. And from working my internships, I've found that how much you know in school doesn't matter at all. It really depends on your willingness to learn and your ability to ask questions and trying to learn from those mistakes that you've made. Even without knowing every little thing, your team will work with you and develop you for someone that they could work with every day as if they bring you on for a full-time offer. So definitely don't get discouraged, keep applying, and kind of, reflect on maybe interviews or experiences like, okay, what could I do a little bit better? How can I change, this question that I answered? Because a lot of the questions do come up over and over again in those behavioral interviews. So trying to find ways to, sell yourself better and, provide the best version of yourself.
Thank you, Alex. Great response. If there's any other questions, we do have a few more minutes with Alex while he's live with us. Go ahead and drop those questions down in the chat. But Alex, is there anything else that you would like to add or additional advice or, little nuggets of inspiration that you would like to give to other students as they're viewing?
Yeah, I guess this campus opens up a little bit more, join different clubs, have fun. I've gotten a lot of great opportunities from different clubs that I've joined along the way and things that I never thought I would do in college. So you never know where something could lead you. And, as much as the schedule allow it, or as long as you feel comfortable, or not necessarily comfortable, but, not overloading your schedule, try and find those fun things where you can meet a great group of people and create those networks moving forward.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for that, Alex. And then one final question. So plans after graduation. I know this is going to be your last semester within Central, so big semester for you there. Congratulations. So do you know what your next steps are going to be?
Yeah, so once I graduate in December, I'll start studying for the CPA exam, which is to become a certified public accountant. That process will probably take 6 months to a full year, depending on my study habits. The plan is to knock it out before I start working for Deloitte in the fall of 2022 in their audit and assurance practice.
Awesome. Well, good luck with studying. That's going to be a great opportunity for you. Several of CMU students, when they graduate from our accounting program, they do graduate with the credit requirement to take their CPA exam. So that's a great benefit to being a CMU student and having those great relationships within the College of Business Administration. So thank you for that, Alex. Just want to make sure that if there's anyone out there viewing, if you have one last question for Alex, we have a few more moments here. I'm just going to give a few seconds for that. But thank you, Alex, for taking out the time today. It was great to talk and connect with you. Wish you the best of luck in everything in your next steps. And when you're back on campus, I hope that you do have some opportunities to network with our office face-to-face and some more students.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew. I look forward to coming back to campus and, seeing people face to face in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, it'll be great to have you back. It'll be awesome to see you. Well, everyone, thank you for joining the Career Development Center for Coffee with Interns today with Alex Dixon. As always, it's great to meet with our students to see the awesome work that they're doing when they're away from campus. And as always, if you have any questions on the Career Development Center, how you can become connected with any of our resources, or if you would like to partner with the university, you can email our office at careers with an S at cmich.edu. Again, our email address is careers@cmich.edu. And if you would like to find more information, you can search our office on CMU's main website by looking up the Career Development Center. Thank you, everyone, for viewing, and have a great day.